What's going on, YouTube? Claic Yuzolt back again with another Final Fantasy Brave Exvius banner review. And guys, is it Friday yet? Because Sephiroth has arrived, and it's a really good banner. We're going to get into it. We're going to go ahead and get started. This brings a step-up banner with it. We're going to talk about that and, like, future banners and where you should be spending your lapis, essentially, or, you know, I'll give you some tips so you can decide, because everybody's accounts are different, but we're going to see where you guys can decide. We're going to go here and go to Mim. Mim is the first and only 3-star base going up to 5-star unit on the banner. We have Fairy Scrunchy, which is the Trust Moogle. Look at it. Defense 15, Spirit 15, HP 20%, Resist Confuse. Not the worst TMR to have, I guess. It gives you the HP 20% plus the Confuse Resist, which is really nice, plus a couple of, you know, 15 isn't that big on Spirit and Defense, but hey, it gives you something instead of just having to use the Jeweled Ring. Now you don't get the Petrify Resist. Actually, the Jeweled Ring is paralyzing. What am I talking about? Anyway, it's Confused Resist with HP, alright? It seems okay. Forget everything I said about the Jeweled Ring. It's still amazing. Moving on down, it just seems like it's a, she's a breaker unit similar to Timothy. Not as good of a TMR, though, in my opinion. Timothy has it in the TMR range. Attack kill, it breaks all the way up to 50% for a 3-star base. Very, very good. I'm going to go down a cheeky one. Increase limit burst 100%. Has refresh? To one ally, and it's not that big. That's okay. And then the trick is at 59% there. So what I'm going to go ahead and do is go type in Timothy and see how close these two really are. Did I type Timothy right? Sure did. Okay, 50% like we said. Cheeky one. And then 59%. So these units are pretty much exactly the same, except the Trust Moogle, and it's a guy and a girl. So again, very good. Make sure there's nothing in here I'm missing. We have you can revive a KO'd ally. Is there something weird that he has it? Remove cast from battle, inflict confuse. Okay, so we have an imperil right here on our Timothy, and instead we have some like white mage aspects to Mim. So that's the difference. There we go. That's going to be the difference here. You can heal a little bit, do some Courage, AoE, Asuna, Fairy support, heal HP 50% to another ally, and you can bring somebody back, but only to 10% HP. So you got to pick who you want. I think Timothy's a stronger unit, especially with the imperils on top. Moving on, we're moving on to Shylt, who some people think is shit. And Shylt is a 4-star base going up to 6-star. Again, only one 3-star, only one 4-star. And that's pretty good because its 4-star is amazing. Barrier Mage, very similar to Mystia. Kind of looks like Mystia's kind of thing going on here, because essentially it's Mystia but a dude. And we're going to compare the two when we get there. But let's look at the Trust Mastery. Barrier Mage's Oath, excuse me. Increase Spirit by 25%. Increase Spirit 25% when equipped with a staff. So essentially it's 50% SPR for a healer, support, or Lila, who is on the banner coming up. She's going to want to use this too because her attack is based off her spirit. Very, very good TMR, but I do believe it doesn't stack. Unstackable. No. If it was stackable, it'd be ridiculous. But all right, moving on. So Shylt has a grade A, or grade S, I guess you could say, TMR. Very, very good TMR. 50% spirit is nothing to joke about. Can equip a dagger, which means you're, what's that dagger called? The dagger that gives you HP. You guys, survival edges can go on him to give him some HP if you want. Doesn't have like heavy armor and stuff, but again, just like Mystia. We're going to look here at the moves. Remove Brace from Caster, increase defense and spirit 50%. Increase attack and break resist, so he has the break resist too. You know what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and try to open Mystia too. I'm going to look down at Mystia's moves real quick. Clear Veil, go with HP Mind Fortress. So they are a little bit different, as we can see here, but they both have dual cast. Reduction, mitigate damage 15% for 3 turns. Let's see, do you have one of those? It doesn't look like she has one of those. Or am I dumb? To caster. But if we look here, mitigate damage for 3 turns to 1 ally. So you can put that on somebody, maybe even yourself. The 15% is not that bad. And then we have a 50% damage mitigation, 50% to cover magic. Similar to Mystia, that should be the same there. They both look like they have dual cast. Increase spirit 100% for 2 turns to caster. Mitigate damage to 20% to caster. Does he have anything that heals him all the way, though? It doesn't look like he has the move. That's one of the things I really like about Mystia, is she has this move right here. Let's see, where's the one that like puts her back to 100% HP? Well, she also has increased resist to all status elements and increased stop resist, which stop resist is actually really strong too. Recover HP 100% to caster. Right now, I'm kind of leaning towards Mystia. over Shylt, looking at these stats. But again, this is the biggest one, guys. If you're looking at a unit, you want an AoE magic tank. Very important, as I keep saying. If you don't have one, the step up banner lets you get one on 2 5k pulls, or you could just get lucky and get one off a 4-star ticket or a ticket. Moving down, chance to protect one ally for magic damage, 30%, 50% mitigation. Same there as on Mystia. Spiritual barrier, 30% auto heal. Ooh, got a little bit of auto heal going on. Physical barrier, let's see, magic damage one, it doesn't matter to me. Shell gut, and then we have mitigate damage, 42%, and increase light and dark resist, 30% to allies. And then what was Mystia's? Mitigate damage, 42%. What was the one on this one again? Sorry, guys. 42%. Increase spirit, 94%. So, I think this limit burst is actually better than Mystia's. Because, again, I want to keep going in between them, because you're going to probably already have your spirit buffed up on your team by 100 or above, with all the bards and, you know, Soleil running around out there. So this, you're actually going to be able to probably most likely take advantage of the light and dark resist putting up. So I'll give that to him. But overall, both tanks, Mystia and Shylt, are amazing units. I think Shylt's the cooler looking one, though. What do you guys think? Let me go back up to Mystia. Ooh, it's close. I like Shylt's little barrier a little bit better. I don't know. His looks more like a hacker instead of a barrier. And this kind of looks like Shell. So, getting broken apart. So, I don't know. It's close. They both look really cool. But, yeah, if you don't have Mystia, and I know I said I like Mystia a little bit better because of the whole, she can heal herself on the off turns back up to 100%. And she has this AoE resist to ailments and stop. That's pretty good. But Shylt's going to be able to take that damage for you too. AoE mage. Very, very, very good units. Again, just same as Mystia. If you need it, get him up, because you're going to be able to get him on this banner. Moving on to Lila. Our first 5-star on the double 5-star base, going up to 6-star banner. Monk, role magic attacker, physical attacker. And pretty much she's going to be a physical attacker that does magic damage that is pressed against the SPR. And we'll talk about that in a minute. Let's go ahead and look at the Trust Mastery. Claws of Darkness, attack 130, spirit 30, element dark. Pretty high up there, fist weapon. But we're not going to be using a fist weapon on Lila, and I don't really know who you're putting this on, per se. But hey, you know, it's a big fist weapon you guys can get if you need to. We can look here. The most important thing that Lila can put on is staffs, because we'll just scroll down. We'll just get to the main gritty of this. With spirit scaling, all right? Where's the more with spirit scaling? With spirit scaling. That's right, with spirit scaling. Lila does all of her damage, you know, if you want to build her right, with spirit scaling. So instead of boosting up our attack, instead of boosting up our magic, with Lila, we're putting up our spirit as high as we can get it, which is why Shylt's TMR is going to be very good for her. If we look down here, magic damage, but if we look at this physical attack with magic damage. So essentially, that's similar to Dagger Boomerang that's on Rim, and Ace's that one move that lets him cast it twice or whatever. I can't remember Ace's exact move. But essentially, what this means, guys, is it's a physical attack. That means it can take in the killer abilities, and it is affected by dual wield. So we slap dual wield on her, put 2 staffs in her hands. She's going to be casting this bad boy twice, and killer abilities are going to apply. The next part of this, which makes it pretty broken, is it does magic damage, meaning that it is pressed against their spirit. So, you know, like the robot trial boss where Fravia, you know, everywhere Fravia was really good because of the hybrid damage and you'd build her magic and just destroy things. Well, Lila's going to be even better because she doesn't have the hybrid break apart, and she's going to have all the killer abilities apply because of that. So martial arts Heaven Shift, I want to say Swift. Heaven Shift is her best damage dealing move. It's going to be a 14 hit, so you can chain with another Lila, and there should be a lot on your friends list. Guys, if I haven't said this yet, Lila is a broken unit. Even when we get into 7 stars, she was tearing things up in JP from what I understand. And in the game, most of the time, you know, spirits, it can be broken. Spirit's a little bit lower than defense, and again, they allow spirits to be broken more often than not than defense, so that's going to be very important. Moving on down through her moves, she has the ability to imbue lightning, fire, and also decrease lightning and dark resist, and then fire and dark resist by 50%, and she has the ability down here, open eyes. Use martial arts skills twice in one turn. So she's going to be able to cast any of these twice in one turn. So for example, if you want to take 2 staffs and they don't have any elements on them, but you want to chain with some fire, so the first turn you could do martial arts flaming spirit with open eyes, and then hit him with a martial arts heaven shift, and you know you're using the 2, and you could both do that. That way that you're doing the you're doing the damage. Because remember, it says add fire element to physical attacks for 5 turns. This is a physical attack. Physical attack with magic damage. Very important. We don't really care too much about this. Anything that talks about her doing physical damage, we don't care about. Specifically because she just does the proper way of doing as much damage as possible is going to be through this, the spirit, and using this move right here. Because it's a 10 times multiplier, dudes. That is extremely high. With a 14 hit move, that is insane. You're going to be getting a lot of damage with that. You can recover 50% of your MP and HP, and that's also a martial art cast. So if you want to use Open Eyes, use it twice, you can. Guys, do remember, though, that if you use Open Eyes and then cast Martial Arts Heaven Shift twice, it's not going to cast it 4 times with double dual wield. It'll only, that'd be ridiculous, but remember that, please. Physical damage checks, we don't care about that. If we use Niden, enables the following use for 1 turn. Open Eyes Flash, is that down here, right? Open Eyes Flash, use martial arts 3 times in 1 turn. So if you want to be using 3 of them, I don't know why. I guess the damage mitigation on you and recover your HP, you can get it back up to 100% if your healer is predisposed or whatever. You can use Night, and then the next turn you can use things 3 times in a row. So you could just go, you can do whatever you wanted, to be honest. Like, it seems ridiculous, the things you can open up. And this one's not bad either. Look at this. Magic damage, 7.5 times. This is the whole physical attack with magic damage again. Make sure you guys understand this. It's still physical magic, so killers are going to apply and elements are going to apply. With spirit scaling to all enemies. 7.5 times multipliers to all enemies. She seems like she's going to be really good against Blood Moon, to be honest. Because you don't have to put an element on this move or this move. So when you get her, if you compare her with somebody else, Blood Moon seems like they're going to go down pretty easy. Decrease spirit 50% for 3 turns to all enemies. AoE 50% spirit break. That's pretty high up there on the AoE spirit breaking things you can do. Let's go down and look at her counters, it says counter. Look at her passives here. Don't care about being unarmed because we're throwing staffs on her. Chance to counter physical attack 30% with normal attack. Whatever. Increase spirit 20% with a hat and clothes. You're putting a hat, clothes, and 2 staffs in her hands. Increase critical rate, don't care. Increase resist to confuse and petrify. And thank God those are 2 that we run into quite often, so that's good, instead of like silence or something stupid. Increase physical evasion, always nice. MP. Enables dual wielding of one-handed fist. So I guess if they ever come out with a fist weapon that's like 5 attack and 90 spirit, hey, we can do that and save up a Genji glove spot or a dual wield spot in her kit. Recover MP 5% per turn. Martial arts mastery, that's attack. Talented fist, that's HP, but also attack, and it's fist, so we're using staffs. Again, to Open Eyes Flash is just being able to use your ability 3 times in 1 turn. And then looking at our limit burst, let's see how good that is. Physical damage, 12.4 times to 1 enemy. Increased limit burst gauge, fill rate 200% for 3 turns to all allies. So, I mean, that's okay. That right there is like a Riku's pouch kind of move. But it does physical damage, and we ain't gonna have no attack. It's all about spirit. So a lot of people out there, we're gonna be talking about Sephiroth in a minute, are thinking, what happens if I go through the whole thing, the whole shebang, and I end up getting Lila? That's gonna suck. I really love Sephiroth. And I'm sorry, guys. I know Sephiroth's awesome. You guys are really looking forward to him. But Lila is not a booby prize. Lila is stronger than Sephiroth, in my opinion. Lila is going to break shit for you, and you're going to have a much easier time, even if you're just starting out, by getting her, because I don't think it's really that hard to build up spirit on a unit, and you can just go to town, and hopefully there'll be a lot of them on your friends list. So I'm going to give Lila a 9.5 out of 10. She's really, really good, and even going into the 7-star categories there, she does get beaten, she does fall off, but because her 7-star wasn't that great, it didn't enhance her as much as everybody else, but she still can hold her own, and until then, she's going to be probably the best. She's up there in the top 3 for me, best chainer in the game. I don't want to say it, but she's really damn good, all right? So moving on, we're going to go to Sephiroth. That's right, guys. Sephiroth, the big baddie from Final Fantasy VII, is here, and everybody's excited about him. But how good is he? Well, let's take a look. He's a 5-star base going up to 6 stars. So, guys, when you're pulling on this banner, and something I want to point out before we talk about Sephiroth is this banner is just like a normal banner. There's just a step-up portion that is just like a normal banner, where you have to spend 5k lapis to be able to do the 11. So it's 11 pulls, and as you do consecutive 11 pulls, you get goodies for doing it. But there's going to be a banner where you can use your tickets. You can use just normal 500 lapis pulls. I wouldn't do that. There should be a half-price pull, which, again, at this point in the game, maybe even save your lapis to do, step-up banners. You just forget about the half-price ball altogether, but that's how you want to play the game. Anyway, Sephiroth's coming out. Physical attack chainer. Masamune, his, goes into Cloud, picks him up, throws him off the side. Masamune, attack 150, double hand. Let's go ahead and click on that because there is a move called Octo Slash. So it enables double hand, which is normal double hand. That's not true double hand from what I understand. Yeah, you have to have a one-handed weapon. You can't use two-handed weapon there. So it's just going to be normal double hand. And then for Sephiroth only, you get an ability called Octo Slash. So we're going to look into that. How good is this TMR? You're probably going to want to be using it on Sephiroth and for a while, and then you're going to have some other units, you know, that if they want to use katana masteries, if they have a katana in their kit, this thing's going to be beastly. However, from what I've heard from people is it kind of falls off later on, so it's not like a mainstay in your kit for too long because they keep releasing katanas that there must be more that are better from what I understand. Moving on down, this guy can equip swords, great swords, katana, and fist weapons. So great swords and katanas, that's where we want to be. Can equip, you know, helms, hats, heavy armor, light armor, and obviously accessories. Let's talk about what he can actually do, though. Hell's Gate, insta-KO, 40% or physical damage to one enemy. I mean, if you want to do cheesy stuff in the arena, I guess you'll use that move. Oblivion, he does have an AoE 3.6 times multiplier move, which is good. You always want AoE in the kit. Remember the whole Orlando ordeal where you had to have the Blade Blitz ready to go if you needed to wipe out some mobs. The Heavens Wept, physical damage 4 times to one enemy, decreased light and dark resist 60%, which is 10 more percent than the Orlando chaining family, for 3 turns to one enemy. 7 hits, that's right, this is the move that chains with Orlando family, meaning Orlando, Veritas of the Dark. And also, if you look here, it puts down the dark resist, just in case Veritas of the Dark guys are using dark weapons or something. I guess that's going to cover that. Agrius enhanced and that Fravia enhanced. And we know that we have that ice katana to throw on him because he does have katana mastery. So that's going to be a lot of damage. You can throw the ice katana on him and chain him with Fravia. So right there, he already has 4 people on your friends list that have the possibility, or in your unit list for 10-man trials, that he can chain with, all right? Moving on down, we have Black Materia, magic damage 1.8 times, so we don't really care about the damage. Ignore it, we don't care about that. Decreased light and dark resist by 70%. So it's only going to be a 10%, I know I keep having my 4 up there. It's only going to be a 10% upgrade, so I don't really see using this move that often, because chaining is always going to end up, I think, like, always constantly casting a chaining move and actually using the damage is going to be more than that 10% is going to be able to take catch up for the turns you took off from, you know, elemental chaining and getting that big chain up there for the 10%. So we're going to skip out from there. Okay, moving on down, guys, we're going to Aeolian Onslaught, which is physical damage 5 times to one enemy, 12-hit combo. Okay, so we had 5 people. Remember, Agrius, Orlando, or Enhanced and Agrius, Enhanced Fravia, Orlando, maybe it was 4. Am I dumb? Yeah, Veritas Dark, it was 4. I don't know why I was saying 5 before. But plus himself, Sephiroth, I guess. And now we're going to add Onion Knight. Any of Onion Knight's 12-hit moves, Aeolian Onslaught is going to be able to chain with it. It's very important. It's a 5 times multiplier as compared to the 4.8 times. So this is going to be what you're going to want to go to if you are chaining with the Onion Knight. So that's going to be able to give you another chaining partner on your friends list. We got a Reunion, recover HP 10,000 and MP 150 to caster, so he has a way to get his own stuff up. Increase limit burst gauge by 10 to 14 to caster. That way you'll see his limit burst cost 1,000,000 limit burst crystals. And then you have Heaven's Light. Physical damage 2.7 times with ignore defense 50% to one enemy. It's a 16-hitter. This is going to be pretty good. It ends up going out to a, if my brain works, what is that? Is it a 5.9? Yeah, 5.9, right? Yeah, 5.9 times multiplier. Pretty high. His highest one he has, 16-hitter, but it does cost 54 MP. It's gonna be rough. I'm not sure on the chains, chaining frames on this. I'm pretty sure it only works with Sephiroth himself. Sorry guys, I need to interrupt the video because I totally forgot about this move. I meant to say it when I was reviewing his TMR. But then I thought, you know what, I'll throw it in with his chaining partner. So again, he has anybody in the Orlando family. He has Onion Knight himself, and then he has this move called Octoslash, which he gets from Masamune. And that's going to be able to chain with Prompto's Circular Saw for a lot of damage. Guys, it's going to be able to chain with that. This is a 5 times multiplier to one enemy, you know, when you take the defense 50% and times it by 2. So I know, but that's just another option just in case you're like, I need to find a chainer who can chain with my Sephiroth. Well, here adds another option. So we're at like 8, essentially, if you count Sephiroth on his own, right? 6, 7. We're at 7, excuse me, 7. So we have Prompto, Onion Knight, Agrius, Fravia, Orlando, Dark Veritas, and Sephiroth himself, which makes 7. That's insane. So we're going to go back to the video, but I wanted to mention on Octoslash and what it can do also. Moving on down with the passives here. Increase resist to blind, paralyze, confuse, and disease. So again, he has the Genova cells similar to Cloud, of course. He has Purgatorial Wave, chance to ignore fatal damage 50%, so he has a 50% chance to ignore it when above 40% HP, and he can do that 3 times in 1 life, which is pretty damn good. He has Katana Mastery, attack 50% when equipped with a katana. We're obviously going to throw a katana in his hand. Legendary Soldier gives him buffs up stats to all that, so that's going to make his stats even higher when you get him. Auto Heal. Oh, Auto Heal, 60 HP, 1.2 times multiplier per turn, recover MP per turn, increase limit break 1 per turn. So that's a pretty good passive right there, too. Chance to counter physical attacks 50% with Scintilla. Scintilla says physical damage 2 times all enemies. So if he gets hit, he has a 50% chance. So that's actually going to proc quite often, where he just like goes in and like takes them down. You know, that'd be good for trash mobs if they end up slapping you if you're doing like a story mission or something. Or maybe even in a normal combat phase, but with the AoE physical attack covers or the 100% provokes. I don't know if that's actually going to get through. Increase attack 150% for 3 turns when HP drops below 1%. Increase physical and magic damage against humans 75%. So he has magic and physical 75% against humans, so he's going to be very good against humans. And I want to talk about the increase 150% for 3 turns when HP drops below 1%. Anytime I hear 1 or 1% when it comes to Sephiroth, and I know this is kind of going off of the Final Fantasy series, I just think about Sora when you had to fight him in Kingdom Hearts, and he would do that move where he put his hand in the air, and then you just go down to like you had 1 life left. God, that was tough. I don't know if you guys remember that, but so overall, I mean, he has killer abilities too, which is amazing. He has Kuragan Full Life. I think that's added to his kit, man. If you need a little bit of a heal, if you need to bring somebody back to life, that's really cool. He has One Winged Angel, which is his limit burst. Maximum physical damage 6 times with ignore defense 50%. It's a 12 times multiplier. It's 1 hit, so this is going to be like his finisher move. So if you end up building this up and you want to use it, go ahead and have 2 other people chain. You can finish with this. Decrease light and dark resist 100% to all enemies. Okay? The problem with this is 36%. 36 limit burst crystal cost. That's very high. He doesn't have like passively has his limit burst going up on its own. You're going to have to be casting Reunion. You're going to have to, I mean, you're getting 1 a turn, but that's 1 a turn compared to the 36. It's going to be hard to cast this, so you're not really going to be using Sephiroth as a finisher. Obviously going to be a dual-wield chainer. Decrease light and dark resist 100% is amazing if you can pull that off, if we can get that up there. So overall, I know I just talked a bunch. Remember that Heaven's Whip is the chaining move for Orlando family, and then Aeolian Onslaught is for the Onion Knight if you want to do that. What do I think about Sephiroth? Well, if we talk about damage-wise, Sephiroth doesn't really win in a lot of the cases. We're talking about the top damage dealers, Fravia, True Double Hand Tidus, things like that. He doesn't really beat them in damage. However, or a Lila at this point. But however, he's still up there in damage. It's not like he doesn't do damage. He can dish out the damage very well. And, I mean, I still see people using Orlando. I still see people using Veritas the Dark, Onion Knight, things like that. He can compete with them in damage-wise, and he has the ability to chain with all of them, and brings all these great passives and these little bit of support he throws on top of that with these killer abilities. Guys, Sephiroth is not a bad unit. Lila is not a bad unit. Let's move back on. If I'm going to give him a rating, it'd probably be at 8.5 out of 10. Honestly, I should give him a 9 out of 10 because of his ability to chain with others. However, let's talk about this banner and what's coming in the future. Obviously, everybody knows about 7 stars, and I normally stay away from talking about 7 stars in the future, strictly because, or trying to sway you in one way it's a pull or not, strictly because I thought it was a really way off. It's really not that far off, and now we're on the step-up banners, meaning that whales and some dolphins will be pulling on these step-up banners in order to get double of a unit to get their 7 star. So, overall, if this banner was coming out and I didn't know what was coming out after it, this is an insane banner. Lila does insane damage. Sephiroth is a great unit. Shylt is an AoE magic cover tank. If you don't have one, this is amazing. And Mim is okay for breaking and things like that. But we do know that we have CG Lid, who is the best breaker in the game until I think Lauren gets her 7 star. And then from there, you know, you're going to have to weigh in the Imperil and then what CG Lid can do. And then we have Buffer, Exane, Support Extraordinaire, CG Nicole coming out also. So obviously, like, Lid is probably like next week, and then Nicole is going to be a whole probably month after that, because that's how the story and the CG units have been going. So you have to kind of gauge how much you can save until then. And then we have, you know, CG Reagan and stuff like that coming out down the road. So you're going to, oh, and there's one more thing I have to point out too. I almost forgot this before I mentioned this. Remember, there is a June collab coming out that they were really excited for. A limited time collab that's not a JRPG. They mentioned that last month, I do believe, coming in June. So that's coming up soon. It should be at the, probably the beginning of June, middle of June, something like that. So you're going to have to gauge for yourself how much you can save and how much you can spend. For most people who love Sephiroth, he's going to be worth it. Don't let anybody tell you, you wasted your money on this banner. This banner is very, very good. If it wasn't for what we knew that was coming out, I'd be like, you're a fool for not summoning on this banner. But overall, you got to save where you got to need. Do you need a breaker? Do you want to have the best breaker in the game? That's CG lit for you. CG Nicole is going to be good for everybody, so there's no reason not to try to go for him. But overall, there's 2 damage dealers, which we're used to having on almost every banner. And they're very good, but they're just damage dealers. And then we have Shylt up there as the AoE magic tank. I know I kind of keep repeating myself, but so it's going to be up to you. Pull this banner. I'm going to be pulling on it Friday night, tomorrow night, 8 p.m. I'm going all the way up to 25K. We'll see what happens. Maybe we go a little bit deeper. I'm unsure. I mean, it is your boy Sephiroth. As far as his 7-star is concerned, he's the best, I think, or one of the best dual-wield 7-star users in the game. Now, that's not saying he's the best chainer in the game because of the whole true double hand and, fixed dice meta and things like that. That actually is obviously going to do a bit more damage, but Sephiroth is very good at 7-star, and Lila's still pretty good, but not the best 7-star in the game, all right? So overall, great banner. It's up to you guys if you want to pull. Have fun with the step-ups, and have a great weekend, guys. So if you like this video, give it a thumbs up. Comment down below if you're pulling for Sephiroth, if you're going all the way on that 25K step-up banner or not, and then subscribe for future content. We'll catch you guys in the next video.